right, so on today's training, I just want to let you know that there is going to be very graphic content. So if things gross you out or you're, discouraged by looking at certain things related to health and the human body, I definitely recommend do not watch this video. It's a bit graphic, and I don't want you to obviously have a bad experience from learning about how the body functions. All right, so let's get into this particular presentation. Today, you're going to learn how to unleash the remarkable healing power within you. And this particular case that I'm going to go over is really, really remarkable. And I think you're going to get a lot from it. As I mentioned just a moment ago, there is definitely graphic content. So if your stomach gets turned very easily, I would not move forward in watching this video. All right, so let's actually talk about how your body is born to heal, as well as something that really, really saw a huge improvement in my office. So the first thing we look at is that your body has this ability to heal. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of times we're thinking that the drug is going to heal us or something else is going to heal us. But believe it or not, drugs don't heal. The body's ability to heal is what really heals us. Call it God, call it, I don't know, and some intelligence out there. And this would really actually heals the body. So a lot of times I meet with somebody with a neuropathy or potentially an amputation or things like that, and they've given up on a lot of hope because they've tried and they went down the path. They went to their doctor and they see all these scary stories on the internet of people who wind up losing their legs or losing limbs related to diabetes. And this particular story today that you're going to learn about is just such a case where this person has almost given up on life, but I was able to help them get their body healing again and removing the barriers and to see tremendous results. Okay, so you're going to really learn about that. What I want to talk about first is this patient's story, and I want to, it's a very interesting story. So prior to doing telehealth and webinars and before the internet was a huge thing, I would actually do live presentations. It would get so busy and big that I would have to rent an entire hotel's floor in order to do these particular events. 200-300 people would show up for them as I would educate them about how I reverse diabetes and obviously how they get good results. So anyway, there was this particular presentation which I was doing and a seminar about reversing diabetes. And the way it went was we fill up the front tables closest to the stage, and then it works back. So anyway, there was a gentleman in the front. And he's there and his arms are crossed. Like he wants nothing to do with me. He's like, what is this doctor gonna tell me? What is, like he was just sitting there like, beyond skeptical. He was just pissed off that his wife brought him to this particular event. And a little bit about him. So he has been beaten down with diabetes. And what I was looking at was a person who has been to multiple doctors and who failed as they were trying to get themselves better. And let me give you a little background story. So this particular man that was here was in his late 50s. He had a 13-year-old daughter and a wife, and he had a really flourishing business a couple years earlier. And what happened was he wound up actually hurting his foot. And he wound up getting a big infection. And with that being said, he needed multiple surgeries, and the problem was his diabetes was going out of control. And he was at a point where when I met him, he was about to lose his leg. Like it was really, really bad. And he wound up having this huge hole on the bottom of his foot. And it was horrible. And because of this, and he went to doctor after doctor after doctor. I practiced in North New Jersey, so he went all around Manhattan. He went all through different places trying to get help. He was genuinely trying to improve his health. And the reason for this was he was beyond upset and upset that he was getting sick. But now he wasn't able to be a good father. He wasn't able to actually be with his daughter and do things. And she was 13. He lost most of his business, and they were now struggling financially because he couldn't do the work because he couldn't step on his foot. And it was a guy that I looked at that just looked defeated. And I never forget, he was just sitting there looking defeated. And I was a list of another doctor he went to. He already went to the foot doctor. He already went to another foot doctor. He went to another foot doctor. He went to 2 surgeons. Went to the endocrinologist. Went to the medical doctor. And he was just the word doctor and help just meant really bad things to him, because every doctor he went to and every place he went for help didn't actually help. It caused more problems. And anyway, so he's sitting there in this seminar that I'm doing, and he's there, and his arms are crossed. His wife is there because he wants to, she wants to see him do well, and he just wasn't having it. But about 10-15 minutes into how I approach things and the approach I take, he, the arms started coming down. He started becoming more open. He's like, maybe there is hope. Maybe there's a chance that somebody could actually help me, because this doctor is taking a whole different approach, right? And we're going to talk about that, and that's essentially what this particular video is about. And there is a different approach. And the way I look at it is, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you're getting bad results, well, if you continue to do the same thing, you're going to continue to get bad results. You got to do something different in order to get a different result. And you're going to learn more about it. So let's get into his story here. And I want to show you, once again, this is graphic, so hang tight. So when I first met him, this is what essentially his foot looked like. He had this big, huge hole right here. Now, this was after almost like 2 years worth of treatment, going to the podiatrist, going to other health practitioners. They were trying to treat his diabetes. His diabetes was out of control, getting worse and worse and worse. And they were doing everything they could. They shaved this down. They did a bunch of different procedures, surgeries, and so forth. And he couldn't walk on it. I mean, look at this. Like, imagine having a hole like this on the bottom of your foot. And the picture doesn't really give it a lot of justice, but you could actually probably fit a couple of quarters inside of that hole. That is about the the degree and how bad that was. So anyway, I looked at his case, and I genuinely thought I could help him. And one of the reasons why I thought I could help him is that everybody was looking at his foot, and no one was looking at him as an entire person. Sounds kind of crazy, right? And what I thought is that, well, I have an idea. If we can get his whole body functioning better, maybe his foot could improve, because everybody who keeps looking at his foot, right, it wasn't really addressing the root issues, okay? And I'm going to show you an example later on in this presentation. So this is day 1, right? As we move through care, this is around day number 10. And you could see here that things are going in the right direction. The depth in which it was, this wound, has definitely saw an improvement. Around day 30, you could start seeing in this area, it's starting to come in, and you can see it's more flattened in this process, which is a really good sign, because his body is actually going through this healing process. So now we come to day 40. Day 40, at this point, I was working on a lot of inflammation in his body. We're working on putting protocols together to getting the inflammation down, getting the liver functioning, things of that nature. Up to this point, believe it or not, I have not touched his foot. So you're thinking, like, wait a second, how could all of a sudden his body start going and healing? And yeah, I didn't treat his foot. I wasn't treating his diabetes, but I was getting to the root imbalance. And you can look here, I mean, what a big difference, right? He's doing really well. Then we get to day 45, and now what's really awesome, and I don't know if you could see it here, but you could see that there's actually blood forming. Now, well, no one wants to see blood everywhere, but blood is a good thing, because blood brings nutrients, right? Like, if something gets blood to it, there's a chance that it brings oxygen and nutrients and other things that could allow the body to actually go and heal. Now we get to day 50. What a change. And now he's at a point where it's coming together, looking like it's almost healing. And then we get to day 60, and we see more areas here where it's healing. So now this area that's white is going to become skin, and that little red area is the area where, now it just is still healing, but there's blood there. And then we get to day 70, where there's only a little bit area there that needs to get going. And then finally we get to around day 90. So this is 3 months in my office, and it's pretty remarkable the amount of change. And what I want to show you is, and I hope this encourages you, the body is born to heal, right? But things stop it from healing. And we can see a big difference from day 1 and getting no results, getting worse, and then into day 90 doing a different approach. Nevertheless, this particular patient isn't worrying about not walking his daughter down the aisle right now that she is getting older. This patient's getting his job back going, right? His whole life changed because of him following a different approach, obviously with my help. So this is what it looks like. So let's talk about how this plays out. The fact is the body is born to heal. So, well, how did this person heal? I kind of mentioned it a few times, and there's a particular thing that they did. The first thing, let's talk about what didn't work. Well, treating it with medications did not work, right? They gave it pill after pill, diabetic pill after pill. It didn't actually fix it. He kept on going to foot exams, podiatrists, even neurologists, right, to try to figure out what's going on. So they did that. They did all these wound cleaning things. They try to put special ointments on it. That didn't work. They were obviously treating it. They did surgeries, and none of that worked for years. And like what he was expecting when he met me at this particular seminar is me to do the same thing. He was expecting me to treat his foot, to do the foot exams, to do the wounds. I don't do surgery and such like that. But that's what he was thinking I was going to offer him, which, as I mentioned earlier, doing the same thing over and over doesn't get a different result. It gets the same result. So I said, heck with this. Let's really look deeper. Okay, so let me tell you my philosophy. So I'm going to give you a quick analogy here. Let's say this dog over here who's laying down starts barking because you step on its tail, right? And you step on this dog's tail and it gets up. It's a lying dog, but you step on its tail. It gets up. It starts barking, 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 barking. Well, of course, you could do something to its mouth. You could muzzle it. I mean, I guess to be really mean to animals, you could get rid of its vocal cords. You could beat it. You could do all of these things to a barking dog. But I think the smarter thing would be to probably get your foot off its tail, because I think if you get the foot off its tail, you're probably going to do a little bit better and this dog will not bark, okay? Now, it makes common sense, but that's not what they were doing. The foot was bad, the foot was bad, the foot was bad, right, on this particular patient, but they didn't address what was causing the foot to be bad. And that's what I did. I did something very different. So let me give you another way of thinking of this. If we look at this fruit here, so we have this orange on a stem. Well, if I go in here and cut this orange, or let's say I don't really break the entire the entire branch here, but I just injure the branch. Well, we know that this orange right here is going to start obviously not growing the way it should be. It may be diseased. It may come out black. It may not even grow at all. Now, there's two ways we could do this. Number one is we can go here and start spraying this orange. We could start praying to the orange. We could start doing all these things to this orange, right? And everybody's looking at this orange. Oh my God, this orange is bad. This orange is bad. My thought is, how about we just fix this branch? And then if we fix the branch, we can go there and start seeing this orange actually do better. That's how this patient got better in my office. This is how cases like really bad neuropathy improve. This is how really bad diabetes improves. This is how just starting of neuropathy and basic diabetes starts actually improving. Is not because I treat these neuropathy or treat the diabetes. It's that I find where the body is not healing and removing it. So let's talk about what does work, okay? So what worked is me going and actually treating the root issues. When I did the labs on this patient, I ran a ton of labs, way more than his doctor ran, and I figured out what were those issues, what was really in the blood, and I looked at under kind of like a microscope to really figure that out. I also looked at other things that could be factors, right? Infections, biome issues, things like that. So by handling the root issues, that made a big difference. I didn't treat his foot, I treated the whole person. It's like the going back to this orange analogy, right? Yeah, you have to fix the branch, but also it'd be nice if that tree, that orange tree, had fertilizer and it got watered, right? Like that's how these things live. And same thing as a diabetic, you have to get down and treat the whole thing, right? Like get the whole body working. We worked on a lot of lowering of inflammation. His body was literally on fire. And lastly, we did it with all side effects. This is the approach that works. This is how patients walk in my office, pretty much in desperation, don't know what to do. And with the approach I take, the protocols I put together, the labs I run, and the success rate I have, this is how they actually get better. So if you're there and you have neuropathy or you know someone with neuropathy, right? This approach may improve. This approach may be the answer you need in order to actually help and improve your type 2 diabetes and also the potential complications. Okay, so if you'd like more information, I have a ton of information on my website. There is a lot there. There are courses, there are ebooks, there are videos, there's blogs. You will not lack information related to type 2 diabetes and how to improve it and reverse it. So definitely enjoy that. Also, there's an amazing Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. If you're interested in that as well, I definitely recommend you joining it. It's called Advanced Diabetes Solutions. And that is where we go and defy the odds. And actually, I show you advanced techniques on how to reverse type 2 diabetes. It's a great group. The energy is amazing, and it grows exponentially. It's really, really awesome. And then lastly, if you have any questions or need more help, you could always email us at support@drjspages.com. All right, so I hope you learned a lot from this particular video, and I hope you learn more on my website so you could help yourself reverse your type 2 diabetes, lessen and eliminate medication, and live a quality of life. All right, well, this is the end of the presentation, so remember, be well, stay well, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.